Most people think they get crypto until you ask them one simple question. What if you made your own money? Like, actually. Not Monopoly Cash, a currency, a system. Sounds illegal, right? But that's exactly what someone did. In 2009, right after the financial crash, a mysterious figure, Satoshi Nakamoto, posted a white paper online. He laid out instructions for a kind of money that didn't need banks, governments, or printing presses. Just math. They called it
Bitcoin.
Bitcoins.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin?
Bitcoins.
Bitcoin, and they don't look a bit like these coins.
and it grew fast. But there's this huge misconception that nobody's talking about, and it could change the way you look at Bitcoin forever.
Not buying it
But to
right
see the
now,
whole
I'll tell
picture,
you
you
that.
need to understand how it works, why it matters even if you never bought a single coin, or why it's about to face an Avengers-level threat. Bitcoin isn't just digital cash or an actual coin. It's not something you use to buy coffee or an NFT, and it's definitely not anonymous or untraceable like people think. The real purpose? Bitcoin was created as a protest, a rebellion. Someone decided to stand up against entire governments and systems that we've known for thousands of years. After banks got bailed out in 2008, Satoshi wrote, "The root of the problem with conventional currency is all the trust that's required to make it work." Bitcoin was supposed to remove that trust, to build a system where code replaces character, and we don't have any sketchy middlemen anymore. But here's the catch. Most people think Bitcoin is safe because no one controls it. But that's not entirely the whole story. Because if you don't understand how it works under the hood, you won't see what could break it. And yeah, it can break. So how does Bitcoin actually work? Imagine this. You and your friends are keeping track of who owes who money, but instead of trusting one person to write it down, everyone writes it down. Every time someone pays someone else, everyone updates their notebook. If one person lies, it doesn't matter. Everyone else has the truth. That's the core idea of Bitcoin. It runs on something called a blockchain, just like this channel runs on subscribers. But a blockchain is basically a giant public notebook shared by thousands of computers all over the world. Every 10 minutes, all the new transactions are bundled into a block. And once that block is added, it can't be changed. It's locked in forever. And no, it's not anonymous. Bitcoin is less private than your VPN. VPNs hide your internet activity and your IP address. It's private unless you do something that gives you away, like logging into something with your real name. Bitcoin doesn't hide your activity at all. It's like writing every transaction you make in permanent ink on a giant public whiteboard anyone in the world can read. You're not invisible. You're wearing a mask at a party while someone records everything you do and uploads it to YouTube. If that mask, your wallet address, is ever linked to you, your whole transaction history is out there for anyone to watch. But let's get back to who exactly are writing these blocks. This is where something called mining comes in. Mining isn't digging around in the ground, it's computers solving really hard math problems to earn the right to add the next block. When a miner wins, they get a reward, new Bitcoin. That's how new coins are created. And it's also what keeps the system secure. Because to hack the system, you'd have to control more than half the entire network, which is basically impossible. Inflation doesn't really exist with Bitcoin in the traditional sense. There's a set amount of Bitcoin that will ever be produced. You can't just print more like banks do with money. The last Bitcoin will be mined in 2140. No banks, no CEOs, no reset button. That's what people mean when they say Bitcoin is decentralized. But even though Bitcoin feels invisible or digital, it runs on real hardware, real electricity, and real people. And that's where things get complicated. Right now, Bitcoin security is based on math that's really hard for normal computers to break. But quantum computers, they don't play by the same rules. If quantum tech keeps advancing, it could actually crack Bitcoin's encryption. This is where Shor's algorithm comes in, created by mathematician Peter Shor. What he figured out was a way for quantum computers to quickly find the prime factors of really big numbers. We know that the prime factors of 12 are 2 times 2 times 3. Easy. But try factoring 1,000-digit numbers. Suddenly it becomes insanely hard for regular computers. But why does that matter? Because that's the foundation of the encryption used to secure almost everything on the internet. It would take regular computers billions of years to solve, but quantum computers can crack that same encryption in hours or days. That's a massive deal. Is this happening tomorrow? No, but 10 to 20 years from now, it's on the radar. And if Bitcoin doesn't evolve, it could be in trouble. There's one more thing, energy. Mining Bitcoin uses a lot of energy. like more than some small countries. Enthusiasts argue it's worth it for a secure system. Critics say it's unsustainable, especially in a world racing to cut carbon emissions. If governments decide the energy cost is too high, they could start banning mining or pushing for greener alternatives. Cryptocurrency honestly sets the tone of our current society, where we trust code more than corporations, and rightfully so. You've seen how it started, how it works, what it gets wrong, and what might one day destroy it. It's messy, it's complicated, it's not perfect, but it's real. And it's happening right now, with or without your permission. Because at the end of the day, Bitcoin isn't just a currency. It's a radical experiment in trust without authority, all sparked by one simple question. What if you made your own money?